Okay, so welcome to Math 639. Oops. Usually I would have made this video before, but some things happened and I wasn't, so I sent the email instead, which contained most of the information. Typically every week I will send out a video at the beginning of the week, either Monday or Tuesday, just saying kind of here's what we're doing for this week, here's what you should have on your radar and that sort of thing. But that's what I'm doing with this video. So mathematically, content-wise, week one is going to be what I hope to be will just be a review of linear algebra. Let me change this camera's placement. Sorry. I hope it'll just be a review of linear algebra for you. Now, there's probably going to be some things in the reading and in the videos, if you watch them, that you might not have seen before. That's fine. A lot of the stuff that we're gonna see, a lot of the new stuff, it might seem a little abstract at this point and kind of, why are we even doing this? But as we get to look at the iterative methods, it'll make more sense. In fact, it got so much to the point that it was getting a little too abstract and unmotivated that there are some parts in chapter 1 that I just didn't make videos on, simply because I want to cover those things when we come up to them and need to know about them. Otherwise, it gets to be a little bit of overload. But mainly, this is a week of introduction to the course and a review of linear algebra. And I want to go over some things about this course and what you can expect, what your responsibilities are, and those sorts of things. So I'm in Canvas. I have the view as you can see here. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, I'm in the student view, so your Canvas page should look something similar to this. I'm just going to take a little bit of time going over the syllabus here. Again, why? Okay. You will not have this problem. It did not have this problem when I was doing it before. I don't know why it's having the problem now. Okay, so let me leave the student view and I can look at the syllabus like this. All right. Okay, so you can sort of read through a lot of this stuff here. I haven't decided on office hours yet. I will try to get that done today. Catalog description. This is just the catalog description. Knowledge of computer programming, C or Fortran. That is old. We'll be using Python, but if you know what C is, if you can program in C, you can program in Python. I don't know about Fortran. I've never used Fortran, so this is really old. Again, you can look at the course learning outcomes. We're going to be looking at the development and analysis of iterative methods applied to the solution of large sparse systems of linear equations. The book, where's the book? Okay, yeah, this right here is the book. This is available online from the University of Chicago website. This is the grading policy. 10% of the homework is going to be on weekly discussions. 10% is going to be on the weekly homework, and 40 is going to be for the midterm and 40 for the final project. And the midterm project is already posted, and the final project is going to be an extension of that. Okay, so here is the course schedule. I'm not going to read over this, but I just want to let you look at it. This next week, week 2, we're going to be translating a PDE into a system of algebraic equations. So this is going to involve derivation of PDEs and then going from the PDE, that is partial differential equation, to a discrete version of that, and then from that to a system of linear equations that we're going to solve. And then week 3, we're going to talk a little bit about sparse matrices, what a sparse matrix is, things like that. And then we're also going to begin with the basic iterative methods next week as well. Sorry, not next week, week 3. The week after that, we're going to continue our study of basic iterative methods. Week 1 through week 4, weeks 1 through 4, these are the information, these are the things that you need to be able to do the midterm project. And once you look at the midterm project, excuse me, once you look at the midterm project, you'll see that they're sort of step by step. So at the end of week 2, or with the material in week 2, you'll be able to do, I don't know, maybe about a quarter to a half of the project. And then once you know about some basic iterative methods, you'll be able to do a little bit more. And then once you know about more of the iterative methods, you'll be able to do a little bit more. And so, I guess if you want, you can wait till the end of week 4 to do all of it. But I suggest just kind of working on it little by little as you go. Look at the project. Okay. These are all just normal policies here, so there's not a lot there that we need to look at. Okay, so I'm going to go back and put it in student view so you can see, you can sort of, this will be what you look like, or what it looks like to you. These are the modules. Every week there's going to be a module for that week. I'm going to give you, this is just the chapters of the book that I've just put here, but the book link is also here as well. Everything's here. This is just the chapter that we're going to be talking about this week. These are the videos that I'm going to be posting. If you look through chapter 1 of the text and you're like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with all of this. If you see these titles and you're like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with all of that, you know, you don't necessarily need to do all of the reading and all of the watching of the videos. You can just sort of wait until it comes up in class if there's something you need to refresh your memory on. And then these are the two assignments. So there's going to be a weekly discussion and a weekly homework. Okay, now the discussions, I'm going to open this up. Okay, I just want to describe what's happening here. So this is what this is. For every week, you have to have 3 posts. One is going to be, you have to ask a question about the content. Okay, so come up with a question if you don't have one. But like, I think most people are going to have some questions about what's going on in the content, except for maybe week 1. I don't know. But there's other stuff in the book that probably there are things as well. In other words, I feel fairly confident. Well, never mind. I won't get into that. Okay, your second post, you have to answer somebody else's question. So you're not going to be able to see other people's questions until you ask a question. So you ask a question, then you can see other people's responses. You have to find a question that seems interesting to you and answer it. Okay, and read what I wrote there about that. Post number 3, this gets a little complicated. The idea here is that according to university rules, this is not a correspondence course. In other words, this isn't a course where you just kind of do all of the work for this course on Saturday. These distance courses should imitate a real life university course or a traditional university course as much as possible. And so, excuse me, I'm trying to encourage interaction throughout the week, not just interaction, everybody posting at, 10 p.m. on Monday when the discussion is due and things like that. And this is one of the things to help that happen. Post 3, if somebody has responded to you, you need to respond to them. You only have to do that once. Okay, now if by, I forget what the deadline is here, if by Friday nobody has not responded to you, then you can just respond to another question, okay? But the idea here is that there needs to be some sort of sustained interaction throughout the week rather than just everybody doing it on Monday night before it's due. Because then it's not really a discussion, it's just you saying something and then somebody coming along after you and say, hey, that's a great comment that you made. And we need more interaction than that. I do want to make this note on AI. The use of AI in composing your message is strictly forbidden. So what I mean is, let's say you have an idea. These are the things that you want to say. If you take that and put it into AI and say, modify this to make it look nice, do not do that. Okay, not at all. Don't even use it to help with your wording or anything like that. I want everything that you type to basically be coming, from your mind. I mean, obviously, you can look at other resources, but I don't want you to just say, hey, AI, I have this thing that I want to say, but make it look more professional. Or ChatGPT, I'm going to give you this thing that I have written, make it look nicer for me. So our motto in this class is that we would rather have bad human writing than good robot writing. Okay, now AI is perfectly fine, and in fact, I sort of encourage it if you don't have moral problems with it, using AI to learn about things in this class and to research about things in this class and to research about answers to questions that people might be asking. Those are things that are completely fine, and like I said, I encourage that. Okay, again, if you don't, let your conscience be the guide there. The other thing that I want to talk about is the homework. So this is the homework description. Now, for this and all assignments, all homework and the midterm assignments, you are going to be turning in a Python notebook. And we'll talk about this in the lab. Today's Thursday. I'll be making a video, like a lab video today, where I go over the homework assignment. So everything is going to be done in Google Colab. If you click here, it's going to open a Google Colab page like this. Now, since this is mine, I can just edit this directly. You're going to have to make a copy and edit it. And then you're going to come over here, download the IPY and B file, and that's what you're going to upload, and I'm going to look at it and grade it. Now, every week, since this is a 4-hour course, there needs to be a lab component. The lab component will be on Thursdays of the week, okay? And what I'm going to do, so this week I'm just going to look at the homework assignment that I wrote, and I'm going to basically just do that homework assignment for you and talk my way through it, sort of give you my thoughts about how to do things and stuff like that. But typically there's going to be a separate lab that I write up. I'm going to give you a blank copy of that, and then I'll give sort of my completed copy of that. And I'll make a video of myself going through it and kind of, working it out, doing the problems that are in the lab and that sort of thing. And it's not going to be the exact same thing as the homework, but it'll be somewhat related to the homework. And then maybe the homework will ask you to push in a little bit different directions. Okay, look also at the note, the use of AI there as well. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is the midterm project. Here it is. So it's somewhat long, but read through it. And like I said, really at the end of week 2, you're going to be able to do this part and problem 1, and problem 2 as well. And I'm getting, yes, and problem part 2 as well. So at the end of week 2, you'll be able to do part 1 and part 2. At the end of week 3, you'll be able to do the Jacobi iteration of part 3 here, and then at the end of week 4, you can do these 2 iterations as well, and then you'll have these other things to do as well. Really, I get that there's 8 parts here. I'll talk about part 8 in just a minute here, but I get there's 7 different parts of your project you have to do. But really, once you get through part 4, these other things are not going to be as difficult. The real challenging parts are parts 1 through 4. And you're going to be able to do parts 1 through 3 by the end of week 3. You'll be able to do part 4 by the end of week 4. That's where a lot of the work is going to come in, and then you'll have to sort of apply part 4 to these other parts as well. Now, part 8. In this part, you will give a presentation to me. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, it's pretty much exactly like it sounds. We're going to set up a time for you. It's going to be like a 45-minute scheduled time. You're going to take 30 minutes to present your project to me. Okay, the whole reason I'm doing this, well, there's basically 2 main reasons that I'm doing this. One is because I think it is a skill to have. It is important for you to be able to explain what you've done. You have a technical thing. It's important to be able to explain that to somebody. That's the first reason. That's one reason. The second reason is that I am fully aware that you could take this and give it to, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, and it could just probably give you a project that's passable. I've noticed that sometimes it will do wrong things. So, that would be something that you have to get through. But I know that you could just, put this and have it done. And I don't want you to do that. Again, I'm fine with you using AI to ask questions and stuff like that. And I'm not going to monitor how you use AI in coming up with the code and stuff like that. But you do need to understand the code. You do need to understand the mathematical principles well enough to explain them to me. And that is what this Part 8 presentation is about. Also, for those in the Distance Masters program, you're going to be having to give a presentation on something as well as part of your final oral exam. And this is, you can sort of think about this for both for the presentation and the final as a warm-up for that. When it's closer to the time that this is due, we'll start trying to figure out when, how we're going to schedule these. There's a way to do it in Canvas, but we'll talk about that later. One thing that I just realized I didn't mention that I do want to mention, one thing for the week 1 homework is you're going to turn this in, and then you are going to be randomly assigned another student's assignment to look at. That's what this says right here. So you're going to do a peer review of your one of your fellow classmates' assignments. And once everything gets turned in, this will wait until everything gets turned in. You will be assigned it, and then you can upload like a comment, or you can handwrite a comment and take a photo of that and upload it, or you can type in your comment and upload that. Okay, and then the idea is that really you should look at what your classmates are saying, because if they're saying they don't understand something, or there's a better way to do something or something like that, This is you should take that as an indication that maybe you can improve it somehow. I mean, it's not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong, but it could just be that you think you're very clearly explaining something, but somebody else has a hard time understanding it. It could be that the person has a hard time understanding it, but really shouldn't have a hard time understanding it, and that's going to be one of the things that you kind of have to work through, and how you're going to how do you sort of going to incorporate their feedback into your upcoming assignments and into the midterm project and that sort of thing. Okay, so I think that says pretty much. I think that's everything that I pretty much want to say about the course. Ask questions in the discussion forum about this. You can always ask questions in the discussion forum, even if it's not going to count toward one of your 3 posts. You can always make comments and ask about things in the discussion forum. It should be about mathematics, or not should be. It needs to be about mathematical content that you ask in the discussion forum, and your interaction with other people needs to be like legitimate interaction. Not just sort of simple comments about, hey, I like what you said. Okay, you need to somehow engage with what they're saying. Now, again, you can always, if somebody says something that you like, you can always say, hey, that's a great observation. I'm glad you mentioned it. That is perfectly fine. It's just not going to count to one of your 3 comments. Okay, that's it, and I look forward to continued interaction with you guys in the discussions.